It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, everybody? Your boy Ike Feldman back in the studio. Amir Lamdan is not a hologram like Tupac or Jupac, however you want to call it. But we are rolling, finally. It's been a hell of a setup. This is a lot more intricate than a Zoom setup, but that's because I'm being joined by an intricate individual. That's called alliteration, folks and fans of the Octagon program. First and foremost, thank you for coming to me, Casa. We're not in a 1920s prohibition basement. This is fake brick. If you couldn't tell. Mr. Lamdan, how are you doing?
Don't tell the crowd that. They don't know.
Oh, you're right.
You have to let them see. The beautiful thing about a studio is it gives them the sense of presence of the environment you want to create.
That's true. Well, there's dirty laundry about 8 feet away.
But nobody needs to know that because it's not in the shot.
There's a mattress that has to be moved.
But as long as you keep it, being that this is a MMA-based show, right? Talking about keeping your composure and not letting your opponent know what's happening.
Right, you could have the broken injury.
So many things could be going on. I mean, let's take a situation that it just happened recently on social media with our fellow teammate Merab Dvalishvili, and
I'm glad we're getting into this.
and him exposing that, right? Now, maybe it's not as big of a deal as maybe Dana White made it out to be. Maybe it is, but I
Dana was having a crazy night too. Did you see the whole thing?
No, I didn't.
The 3 stories that came out of there. Israel Adesanya was very mad that the UFC removed Francis Ngannou.
Yes, I heard about that.
Same press conference.
Oh, okay. That's definitely not something that you want to be a part of.
What was the other? It was either like a Jake Paul or John Jones thing, and he was just on fire.
Oh, I know what. The John Jones video that he's going to release to tell everyone a big fuck you.
Basically. Then Merab was involved in that. So him to say it's the dumbest shit he's ever seen, maybe a little harsh. Because, there is John Jones still walking the planet. So I wouldn't go that as far. But, the Warrior Code, Merab definitely didn't stick to that.
Well, to me, and that's where, I go back to the wall, right? It's like, what do you want? What kind of what do you want your opponent or the audience to perceive? And maybe Merab, is, trying to get shot on him out. Look, my personal feeling is that Merab's going to go in there and take him down right away, or at least try to. So maybe he's like, O'Malley's going to be headhunting right away. That gives me the opportunity to attack the legs. I don't know how Merab's thinking, but the idea is, like I said with this, especially in martial arts, you don't want to let your opponent know what you're going to do, because then they're going to defend it, right? So whether it's striking or grappling, you got to set things up. And right now, it's whatever this is, but maybe one day it'll be a brick building in downtown Manhattan, in the meatpacking district, where it is an old school build, and you have this beautiful studio for people to come and see you, right?
Wow. From your mouth to Yahweh's ears. Let's go. Inshallah, as the kids say.
Okay.
Incredible. Let's keep the social media going. I've heard Henry Cejudo, I think he really sprained his ankle bad, so he taped up both ankles so the opponent didn't know. Conor McGregor, the opposite, breaks his toe, tells the world about it. What are your thoughts on that? Should have McGregor he probably left 10 to 12 million on the table, but that shows you where he's at in his career.
Yeah.
But we're playing toe.
No, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
All this toe talk.
It's a small table.
All this toe talk.
Okay, go ahead. Go back.
They don't know it's a small table.
Exactly. Anyway.
But yeah, what are your thoughts with McGregor where he's at? Now I respect him. He brought it to ESPN. He brought the big sale. Got Ari Emanuel, fellow Jew, involved, and I think maybe Netflix is next. Maybe a double promotion, a broadcast deal with ESPN or NBC. Who knows? But what are your thoughts on McGregor where he's at right now?
I think I don't think he's going to fight again, to be honest with you. I mean,
100%. You would bet on that. $500. You would say he.
Yeah, I mean, just here. If you look, how many years has it been since he lost to Poirier? 2.5 years, right? Almost
over 3.
Over 3 years.
Yep,
so.
Yep.
UFC 264.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys have no clue. This guy is a literal encyclopedia of MMA.
My college years, it gets blurry.
It's all right, but that's okay. He's like, yo, name a UFC from 200 to 300. And I named 275. He gave me the entire lineup.
Like, it's the pick a card.
Hey, listen, to me, that looks like a freaky thing, but it's a skill that you've acquired over time. So like when I have a client come to me and ask me something, and I'm like, oh, you just do this, and they're like, well, it's not just like so simple. But to you it is, because it's that 10-year overnight success, which we talked about. Like, you have all the tools.
Thank you.
To make this happen.
Need the floss.
Well, whatever you think you need more of, do it. Well, that's all I would say.
I'm doing this deal on the record. I'm going to do an hour recording. I hate when I have gaps in the podcast feed, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, but you have this like very inspiring aura about you.
Oh,
and it's like there's truth to it. It's not like, hey, you know what you should fucking do at like a barbecue. There's very like you've been through the grind, you're living the grind, and you've leveled up, and you're trying to see more levels.
Yeah, I'll use my working with Sauce Gardner, right? So like,
what? You work with the man? Oh, I didn't know this.
So that's where this is like. That's why I tell you this.
Virtually, you met the man?
I'm his private chef.
What?
Yeah,
dude,
so
you're with the sauce's boss. Oh my God! If you guys get a sauce line.
No, but that's where like talking to you about what I was talking to you about earlier, and having this mindset of, okay, you will be in downtown Manhattan. You will, from everything you told me, you have more than the ability to do it. It's just your inability to do it.
Right.
Right?
And your brain plays like, oh, you're good on this front.
Yeah, you're comfortable.
Yeah,
you're playing comfortable, but once you're comfortable, you've already stopped succeeding.
Rogan says comfort's the killer.
Well, I don't want to say it's a killer, but it definitely will fuck with your, it will fuck with your mind in the sense of like thinking that everything is awesome. Let's Lego movie style this. Everything is awesome when you're part of a team, like being a part of, Sauce's team. And, it's not, you have to keep progressing and keep doing even better than what got you there, because if you don't, whether it's the UFC bringing you in to do production or interviewing or whatever the future holds for you, or you having your own podcast where you're constantly bringing in guests, those episodes should only get better, right? They shouldn't stay the same. We were talking about someone on a personal level, but someone that I follow because I'm a Jet fan is Jake Asman, right? And giving Jake credit, like listening to him on my way here, and how much the production value in his show has gone up just over the last year. Forget about the last 2 years, where he's really, now in 2 years' time, he is like the Jets, person, like for the fans. He's not a Jets beat writer, but I think, a large majority of Jet fans will go to his podcast for content.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy. He's cornered that.
Yeah. And there's, and that's where, working with Charlie, working with
Charlie Campbell.
yeah. So, like that was a springboard, obviously, to working with Sauce. Helping Charlie with nutrition side, with the strength and conditioning, and then seeing the effects and how much he's progressed, and then obviously with some of my other clients, and using small tools to get, what my coach calls small hinges swing big doors. Right?
I need the. I can figure it out, but what exactly does that mean?
So, like, for example, something as simple as bone broth during training camp, when you're beating your body up and you're constantly sweating out a ton of nutrients, instead of drinking just water throughout your workout, sipping on bone broth.
Wow.
Or just throughout the day to bring nutrients back in.
And it's light.
Yeah, it's not. So, like I said, small hinge, big door.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because you're feeding the body all day, recovering.
And it's not like a cut corner cheap electrolyte packet that could
Correct.
probably have like cancerous.
Yeah. No, I mean, for example, with Charlie, I make the bone broth myself, so he knows. I sell it to my clients, to my athletes. Really, some of the guys at Serra's, I've brought some for them. Some of the fighters that are amateur fighters, just to introduce them to the idea of understanding, like, hey, you don't have to buy it from me, but let me introduce you to something that's going to change the way you think about your recovery. Because if you're training for a fight, you're beating the hell out of your body, and the number one thing you need to be doing is recovering. When you're playing in the NFL and you're in training camp and you're in the heat of the day and you're constantly beating the hell out of your body, you need to recover, So the foods you eat, the training sessions you do, the breathing you're doing, all these things like play into, obviously people use cold plunges and saunas, but those are things that are not accessible to everybody, right? Those things come with a cost. Maybe a cold plunge, not as much as a sauna, but if you want like a good cold plunge, you're going to spend a couple $1,000.
Right, you got to have piping,
yeah,
apparently, right?
Yeah, but something as simple as like drinking bone broth first thing in the morning, or having a cup before bedtime. To give your body all the nutrients that it's been depleted of throughout the day, or maybe not all the nutrients, but a good amount of nutrients, a lot of collagen for your brain, a lot of protein synthesis happening throughout that because it's just liquid, so it's really easily digestible for your body to take in, and you're not pretty much working on digesting all night. You're just hydrating really.
Wow. I first got introduced to the bone broth of being like an anecdote to harsh, putting your body through the ringer, was with these fasts. Chris Weidman, Eddie Hearn, Dana White. And I think there's a sponsorship that was tied in there with Dana White, such a businessman. But he was leaning on his bone broth while he said his 84, 86 hour fast. So that means that it's like, it keeps you alive, and it's like, especially with fighters. Now I think about it, dude, that's a big market, because obviously Sauce Gardner doesn't have to cut 25 pounds in 2 weeks out from a fight, but Charlie Campbell, who's depleting his body, who maybe can just deal with a little liquid, like, that's genius.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Is it a new trend, or was this like, what do they say, the soup to the soul, or the, oh my God, what's the Jewish penicillin?
Yeah, so
I see what you're doing here.
So it's not a new thing. I would say there's a very popular performance chef. Her name is Mary Shinoda. She goes by the Paleo Chef, and I follow her work a lot. And she works with a lot of the Golden State Warriors and other you know, people in Hollywood. She's very the girl from Black Panther, one of the actresses.
Oh, wow.
So she's talks about, you know, one of her programs she has is this. It's like this reset that she has, and it's not.
Detox?
It's not a detox.
Okay.
It's not and that's the beautiful thing. It's like, and this is where like I also believe there's no such thing in detox. You know what detoxes your liver. You know, like that's the organ in our body that detoxes infections or whatever. So if you need a detox in your body and your liver is not doing it, it's not going to be through your food. Cleaning out your gut bacteria and your gut lining, that I do believe in, and cleaning that up so you can, because right, we have this term called our gut instinct, right, where you know something's going on, and where do you feel that? Do you feel that in your head or do you feel that in your stomach?
No, it's like, man, I don't know. Should I trust this guy? Did he really work with Sauce Gardner?
I can show you.
I'm kidding.
But the point is,
Rogan talks about that being in our DNA.
Yeah,
that's the fight or flight.
Yeah, so you know, there's a thinking that our central nervous system is in 3 locations, but our abdominal like holds 2 main areas of our nervous system.
Wow.
Obviously, our brain being the 3rd, and that's where that gut. But that's where, you know, stress, right? Why do people get ulcers in their stomach lining?
Is it stress?
But
that's
why. But why is it why don't you get it in the brain?
Because you're telling me that 67% of the nervous system sits there. Yeah. So that makes sense now.
Right.
Like the diverticulitis.
Yeah, all that stuff. Right.
Wow.
So when you start to, like, for example, this is how I got into the performance meal prep, because when I was in my 20s.
First of all, what was your intro? Were you like watching like were you mixing your SpaghettiOs like in your bowl? Like, what was the origin story?
So originally I'd always loved food growing up. Always around the kitchen, my mom. But when I was in my 20s, as I was getting into this, I went to go live in Alaska, and I was working for a company selling jewelry from between Mexico and Alaska. Okay, and
med school?
No, in between Mexico and Alaska, selling jewelry.
Okay,
yeah.
This sounds like a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, in short, my roommate was a French-trained chef from Senegal.
Okay.
And so the company I worked for, I was out of Cozumel, Mexico, and he had come from St. Thomas. And because I have American citizenship, it's easy for them to send me up to Alaska, because obviously a lot of Mexicans work in the Mexican locations, right. So they don't really send many of those. But I was invited to come up there and work, and that's where the premium sales happen for the company, because you have the richest people in the world going up to Alaska during the summer, because it's not like a year long. It's only seasonal. It's only from May until October, and that's it. So like June, July, August, people are paying $10,000 a cabin.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right, because they got to make the year.
Yeah.
In that small window.
So, well, just because because the ships go down to the Caribbean during the winter time.
Oh.
But they just upcharge it, because you can only go there during the summertime, because the winter time is all nighttime.
Right. And vampires, I've seen them.
Yeah, well, it's for real, because when I lived there, it would look like noon at 10 o'clock at night. And then crazy. At 10:30, the sun's down, and then at 1:30, 2 o'clock, it's back up.
Wow.
But it's very short, so like the sunrise is like 15 minutes long, and from, let's say, 6 a.m. till 10 p.m., it looks like noon. It really fucks your sleep up a lot.
Is it depressing?
It fucks you up for sure.
Everybody was like...
you got to black out your windows, otherwise you can't sleep.
Holy shit.
Because think about it, it's like noon in the middle of the night, you know? coming through your windows.
You probably have so many stories.
Oh, so many.
Were you like huffing some gasoline up there?
No,
propane?
no, thank God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I do have some. So
your French roommate.
So anyway, long story short, after living in Mexico and Alaska, one of my last tours up in Alaska, we were playing basketball, a group of the salespeople, and I dislocated my shoulder. Oof. And I was 22 at the time, and the doctor gave me like 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen, and I was in so much pain, dude. And I had to go back to work. They gave me like 2 days off from work with a dislocated shoulder.
Right.
And the pain was so bad, I was popping ibuprofen left and right, and it wrecked my stomach. Wrecked it. Like, I couldn't eat anything. I destroyed a gland in your stomach that it's called malabsorption, where the gland that produces acid in your stomach doesn't produce the acid, so it doesn't.
Because of the ibuprofen?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's why they always tell you to eat with ibuprofen.
Oh, right.
Because it'll fuck up your stomach.
Jeez.
So, long story short, really fucked up my stomach bad, to the point where whatever I ate came up the other way, came back up from where it came from. And I had to like teach my body how to digest again. So learning how to I would take chicken because, it's got very soft, there's very little collagen in the tissue. Okay.
I don't even know what that means.
So like fat or like when you look at a
collagen
steak.
Is fat?
Well,
I know girls use
collagen
it for beauty stuff.
Yeah, so it absolutely. So collagen, the source of collagen is fat. Okay, and so in the steak, when you look at a steak, you look at the marbling, right? You see like a steak, right? It's red and it's got white lines.
Oh yeah.
That's called marbling.
Oh right, like a counter.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
So that's called marbling on a steak. For those of you that don't know. And so when you look at a steak and the marbling is all throughout the steak, like a Wagyu, you ever seen like Wagyu steak? It's like, it almost looks like white almost because the fat is just spread throughout the entire thing.
And that's not good.
It's very hard to digest if you if your stomach is not strong. That's why they don't really cook it, because
that type of food would kill you because you
oh
didn't
my
have that
god,
acid to
I
break
would
it down.
fucking be dead. I would just.
Like how'd you feel? Like it just
feels like
sits?
someone's stabbing you in the stomach with a knife because
that like that.
Yeah.
Not just like I gotta lay down. Like
no. It's not. I lay down. It's like I'm crouched over in a fetal position.
Like you ever have the cramp in your calf in the middle of the night?
Yeah, this is a lot worse than that.
Oh my god.
Because you got to think, it's just sitting there.
Oof. So, did you have to figure it out on your own?
Yeah, so over time, you go to doctors, they recommend this medication, that medication.
Blanket diagnosis,
yeah,
right?
No, I mean, they tell you, look, you have ulcers, this, you have to, first I found out about the malabsorption, then I found out that I had ulcers, and,
This was all when you were 22?
Yeah, in my early
20s. God,
yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, so very young to be getting all these symptoms, right?
Don't play basketball.
Well, don't fuck around with ibuprofen. How's that?
1,000. Jeez.
So,
this was in Alaska, doctors?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Bro, it was fucking terrible. So, in short, I had to learn how to.
Probably had blood on their apron from cutting Wagyu steak in the other room of the doctor's office.
No, it was like a small hospital in Ketchikan, Alaska. There's fucking 3,500 people.
Do you have like PTSD from Alaska? Can you watch Alaskan people? My
I
brother
don't
is
mind.
obsessed with the show. All right, we got prepared for the winter, and this lady, like the wind burn, like their faces become leather.
Yeah.
Like, over there. Holy smokes.
I don't have PTSD from it, thank God.
When did you come back?
So when I
mean, you're in the States. When did you come back to the real States?
When I was right before my 24th birthday, I had a tragedy happen. One of my friends, his sister was murdered, so I ended up coming home for that. Yeah,
jeez,
long, dude. Like you said, I could give you 1,000 fucking stories, but in short, what happened was
heck of a life.
Yeah.
How old are you, if you don't mind?
41.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Jeez.
still a young guy.
Okay, yeah. The last 2 decades have been
Interesting.
So when you have like you're meeting with like literally top 3, if not one, the best cornerback in the entire world, defensive end, do you have to like pinch yourself and like, oh, I'm here to do a job. Like I still have to do a job. It's not because you hear the whole thing. All right, you made it to the UFC. Dana White looking for a fight, the Ultimate Fighter. But now it's like, all right, now you got to win in the UFC to crack top 15. To get into a title fight, like, yeah, you got your contract, but it's not over. Like,
So I'm going to tell you something that may help you and may help a listener that's listening to this that my coach, Will Chung, taught me. And that is, in life, you don't want to find people to look up to you or look up to, but you want to find peers. And to me, Sauce Gardner is my peer.
wow, I mean, hell of a peer.
I don't believe that I am just lucky to be doing something. I believe that I've worked my tail off and my experiences have earned me the right to stand in his kitchen cooking him food for his mother and his brother and him and for his entire meal prep for the season, and stand there knowing that what I have is going to benefit him. He's lucky to have me there, as opposed to some chef that went to culinary school and knows how to make a fancy meal. I know how to make a fancy meal, but I can also tie it to his nutrition when it comes to his goals. And that's what I think separates me to think that way. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not...
You're definitely drowning the imposter syndrome. I think that's stage 1. And now you're kind of like walking through that and accepting that you can be great, that you are great.
Yeah, that I am, exactly. And that's what I told you prior to us getting on. It's not, dude, like, your resume is, wow, like, you know? So what makes you...
But now it's like molding it.
Yeah,
like,
how do you take that and push it to, you know, when I post my stories and I tag Sauce and XYZ players, that I get, you know, a reaction, or at least, you know...
That's a different game in its own. I think at your core, what you're doing is more important. Like sitting there having a conversation with the Gardeners, I think is invaluable. Over 100,000 viewed reel on Instagram.
Correct.
No offense.
No,
I know Gen Z, you're like, what are you talking about? Because I've met some incredible social media people in person. They can't talk. They can't look you in the eye. It's very awkward. And I'm like, okay, they're good at expressing their minds through this phone. I'm horrible. I get in trouble. I've literally been banned from the UFC because I didn't add an emoji or write LOL, like a sarcasm thing, add a GIF. So I'm like, okay, this weird language that I grew up speaking now has to be, it's a different language, social media. So, but what I'm saying, it's like you're killing it on all fronts. Buff on a budget, Lamdan Strength and Nutrition Systems?
No
systems, but I like the word systems.
That's okay.
And Lamdan.
And now Lighthouse Jiu-Jitsu. I started. Yeah,
what's going on here?
Well, so I've been, but like that's where I mean, like taking yourself and monetizing your passion, right? And
you have like tournaments in Montauk?
No, so like one of my sons is 6 years old, and where I live is very far from Serra Jiu-Jitsu, and there's not any really good jiu-jitsu by me. So I used to be a black belt in karate. I don't consider myself a black belt in karate because, you know, when you don't train something for a long time, you are no longer that thing.
You're modest.
It's true, because if you asked me to do one of my black belt katas, I'd fail immediately.
What Kyokushin, Shotokan? Oh, nice.
So
GSP Shotokan.
GSP Kyokushin, and then added Shotokan for the reaction of the takedowns.
Okay. Do you like karate combat? Like, is it
Yeah, I love karate combat. I think it's fucking great.
something there? Just stay alive,
Yeah.
stay afloat.
Yeah.
Don't kick. Don't squat.
I love the alley that they use for CGI,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
I think the pit, whatever you want to call it.
Robin Black here.
Yeah. Robin Black's a psycho, but yeah. But yeah, so in short,
Lighthouse Jiu-Jitsu.
you know, taking what your passions are and monetizing them. So I want my son to learn jiu-jitsu. I started out of a karate studio that a friend of mine has, and he gave me half the mat. Now I went to another friend who gave me like many hours throughout the day. I have 15 hours a week that I'm going to be teaching like kids programs, teenagers, and it's all times that like I'm home and free doing nothing anyway, or was working with a client that, you know, I can blend into that or kind of move away from at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you have to learn to not just like quit on things, but learn to transition, right?
Okay.
So like jiu-jitsu is all about the transition, right? If you can catch the guy before he goes around the corner, that's how you beat him, right?
Okay.
Throwing a punch in the transitions, right?
Right.
So that's life. That's like literally life is when you want to take something, a bigger studio, a bigger audience, Sauce Gardner, you have to push into, but still manage your defense. So like while I was training clients, I was pushing and reaching out to the jets and like working, you know, again, using my leverage with training my clients and training Charlie and building my confidence into that was what led me to reach out to the jets, and then talking to the jets and getting a position there that I was able to turn down because they didn't offer me the finances that I want.
Wow, that's in a good position to be.
But that's if you create a foundation for yourself, Ike, over this next year, over this next 90 days, why can't you do the same thing?
Right. That's
There's literally nothing.
it's so funny, but probably 10 years ago you're like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
I want to like suck Woody's Woody to get on the Jets roster, and now you're in a position where like, you know, I'll see what the Giants are on. Like,
Well, I don't think like that, but you know,
you put yourself in this position.
you know.
So talk to me, like, how? What like, are there cold spells? How do you deal with cold spells? How do you stay consistent to not have cold spells, like with clients, with relationships? Let's give the blueprint, as Jay-Z would say.
I think, you know, it's like I was telling you, is not looking at what you have and being like, oh,
Stop
this
with the
is
spiritual shit.
not
What's
looking,
the blueprint?
Just to, you know, if I have, you know, let's say Sauce as a client, then how do I get Garrett Wilson? How do I get this person, that person?
Right, without seeming like a sleaze bag.
Correct.
It's like, yeah, because reputation is everything.
Yeah.
I was literally just talking with my wife. She was in sales for 5 years. The number one client was the Army. They actually got like a letter of like thank you from the White House because they provided like they switched from Army stuff to like aprons and masks. And she was saying like, yeah, there were some shitty clients that like piece of shit reputation. I said the difference between that and my career is that if there's a shitty person, the other person will talk about them on the mic. You know the radio beeps.
Yeah, of course.
Like Stephen A. Smith and Brandon Tierney work together. If they hate each other, there is a mutual respect. But if they hated, they don't necessarily say that piece of shit. They'd be like, yeah, and that guy. Like they find a way to talk crap.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Sauce didn't like you, not only the Jets roster would find out, Jets management, executives, bookers, PR people, they would all learn about it. And then you could cut that franchise out and you could move to New England.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you...
As opposed to getting feedback, the feedback that I got was referrals, right? And
Okay.
that's what I mean.
That's a big compliment. You should look at that as like,
the biggest compliment, right? Like, you know, he's during the season. I'm trying to get feedback from him as far as like
feedback is everything. I fucking can't stand silence on emails, on anything.
But and this is where, look, I get it. He's mid-season. He's, you know, focused on football, and instead of like having to constantly chase him and figure out what he wants, like, I built this trust where, you know, the feedback on the food was so good that, again, I got referrals that I didn't have to, like, hey, what do you want this week? What do you want? You know, he was just loving what he was getting, and so that led to X, Y, and Z. You know,
Where's he from?
He's from Detroit.
Detroit guy. Did you like? Do you plug in any like? I don't know, what do they have in Detroit? Like, do you put like motor oil as like balsamic?
No, I don't. So, you know, one of the things. So,
what's your style?
So,
like,
and
what makes you so appealing besides being easy to talk to? Because Daniel Cormier joked around. He said his nutritionist became his best friend.
Yeah,
like his wife's like, I get him out of the house.
I'm definitely not his best friend, you know. But
never know, it might be one of these athletes, man.
Yeah, and look, you know, I'll tell you, well, you know, you asked and earlier about like how it made it happen. It's like, look, I went out and reached out to, you know, his management, which happens to be his brother, and spoke to him like I'm talking to you with.
So you're a big believer in like you can't get what you don't ask for?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. What am I gonna? What do I got to lose?
Right.
You know.
Right.
I messaged his brother on Instagram. I reacted to a post, and his brother hearted it, and then I was like, "Yo, I'd love to work with your brother and help him on the performance side with his food," and he's like, "Okay."
See,
you know, like
there are some weird shit. Now back to the spiritual thing, because that is a professional thing to do. Momentum, strike when the iron's hot. There's like a thin line between being too early on things and too late on things, and opportunity passes you by. But it's also, I'm a big believer, the reason why he responded to you is because you're doing the right things in your world. Like,
agreed.
I got a lot going on. I'm balancing kids, balancing career, trying to balance the octagon. Thank you again for your time. Buff on a Budget, Lamdan Strength and Nutrition, and Lighthouse Jiu-Jitsu. We got to do it now in gym interview, 100%.
Awesome.
So I'm going to be more consistent on recording, and I'll also come down to the gym.
That'd be awesome.
You could wipe the floor of me. You guys just dip me in a bucket
it's
and bleach
okay.
and just wipe the floor of me.
I don't think that'll be the case. I've rolled with you before. You're tough. You're a tough out.
You're modest. You're very modest. I mean, you're very nice. Kind of you. And I appreciate that. But my point is, Gardner's brother, for getting back to you, means, like, I'm throwing some home runs right now, Hail Marys, because I feel like I'm doing a lot of plates. Let me not distract myself, but, like, give me something to, like, okay, this is just a phase.
Anchor yourself.
There will be something to anchor myself on the other side of this phase.
Correct.
For you, you're past the phase that I am. You have a 6-year-old, not like threes and unders. You have one, but it's like, you have at least one who will listen to you.
Yeah.
Not like throw a toy car at
He's sometimes a little bit tougher because he has his own opinion, you know, and he wants things.
Okay.
You know, so you got to balance that also.
Is there never a wrong time to reach out then?
Never
because
a
I'm
wrong
throwing
time.
some Hail Marys. Maybe one of them catches hooks like that.
Correct.
No offense, but that's
that's
not a Hail Mary like you're desperate. I'm saying like reaching out is like you're doing the right things and things.
Don't think of it like a Hail Mary. Think of it like a haymaker.
Okay. You're peppering, doing your job.
Jab.
You know what?
Boom.
Whap. And it's like, oh, it landed. Oh, the guy's wobbly. It's like round ended. How are you going to come out of the next round?
Yeah, and look, I will say, I didn't just cold call Alante Gardner. I you know, so Sauce is very famous. It was
a cold DM.
No, it was in a sense of like, you know, he didn't know who I was.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of cold then.
But so Sauce streams a lot his gaming on Twitch, and I would catch him when the room was small, and I'd be like, "Hey, how you doing today?" He'd be like, "Yeah, you know." I would, everyone's like on there like, oh, Sauce, like blah, 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 like
They wanted Sauce.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Sauce, you're the best. Sauce. Oh, how's Rogers? Sauce this, Sauce that,
You're giving him his hawk tour.
Exactly. And I just went up there like a human being, and I'm like, hey, Sauce, how you feeling today? How was your training? And to some people he responds, and to some people he doesn't. And he would give me direct answers. And I'd be like, oh, what's for dinner tonight? And he'd be like, and he'd respond.
It's getting hot.
And then I'd be like, oh, cool. What's your favorite this? And I'd ask him personal questions about like
Red
food.
or black lace.
Whatever you're into, you ask. But I was just trying to get...
It's also the person, because a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, Sean O'Malley streams a lot. Let me try to book him. And it's like, it's also the person. Man.
Yeah, of course, it's the person.
You're an engineer in the way you're doing this.
Yeah, but look, also Sauce Gardner, as a human being, is a humble character that doesn't have an ego and, will...
Believe that.
And will... converse with someone who is just on his stream,
because I swear to God,
because he's just being human.
There's going to be an opportunity for you where it's like the Randy Moss of receivers comes to a New York metro area.
Well, we have that already. Is Garrett Wilson?
Good point. All right. Hypothetically, Jake Assman. Hypothetically, if Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson was an absolute douchebag, like rolls his windows up and bands on. Hypothetically. I wouldn't
want to work for someone like that.
But it's like you would try.
That's why I love working with guys like Charlie. If you look at all the things that Charlie does outside the octagon, okay, he is constantly promoting charities, whether it's puppy foundations or trying to help money for a family in the neighborhood.
They're great guys. Let me ask it this way then. Have you been like, this is a name, and you're like, ugh, this is gross working with this person, dude. You don't have to name the athlete, and you learn from that. Yes. No? It's always been hits?
I mean...
That's impressive then.
I think you attract what you put out, right?
I agree.
So, I don't... look, now we're talking about me and this situation and MMA and all this stuff, but I'm not braggadocious.
That people don't know about the emails, about the reaching, the booking, connecting.
Well, communication, right? And again, another thing that I would tell you that I give credit to my coach Will Chung is.
Oh, he's calling.
No, it's bullshit. Is communication.
In what way? Because it's such a broad thing. Everybody's like,
I want better communication, sweetie.
Okay, so...
Or the best team's communication is the number one asset. It's give us...
So, communication, following up with what you say, that would be the number one thing I would say. Most people don't follow up with what they're going to actually... They're like, hey, perfect example. This, how easy would it have been for you to cancel... Based off, we were scheduled to shoot this yesterday. You have a lot going on. I have a lot going on. I could have moved things. I could have not moved things around and just been like, hey, and then who knows when it would have happened, right? So I've brought it up to you, being like, hey, man, you ever want me to come on the podcast? I'm happy to come on. You offered me now to come on. You reached out, and so... Hey, I'm not going to now be like, now's not a good time. No, I'm going to make the time.
You did one of your rules, though. You asked.
Yeah.
Of
course.
What's the worst thing? We could be at Combat at the Space, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm a Giants fan. You know what I mean? But you asked.
Yeah,
And that stayed in my mind. Because there's probably other people,
I'm sure there's plenty of other people you talk. But again, following up with
I meant there's probably a lot of people who want to talk.
Yeah.
But just don't ask.
Of course.
That's what I mean.
But that's what I'm saying. Following up with what your feelings are, not just what you're asking.
Okay,
right?
Now we're getting deeper. That's what I need the rules, man. I want to know the playbook.
Well, this is what we talked about.
You're Jay-Z, I'm Kanye. The crazy shit.
Well, so again, why, going back to my performance nutrition background, why am I a performance chef? because after leaving Alaska, I went to go work in the city for a little bit, and then I went to culinary school. And then I went to work at Kraft, which, you know who Tom Colicchio is from Top Chef, the bald guy?
Oh,
Anyway.
does he wear glasses?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he owns
I've seen it in the background.
a very, 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 very famous restaurant in
Sure.
the city, and it's called Kraft, and they have James Beard Awards and all this other stuff. And on Twitter, I reached out to Tom Colicchio.
Like the forum part or the DM part?
No, on the forum part.
Oh my God!
This is like, I'm going to tell you how many times I've had success using Twitter and just reaching out to people on social media to lead me to actually where I am today. I'll go all the way back to...
That's smart.
Listen,
Use it as a tool.
Dude, I will go back all the way to 2008 when Frankie Edgar was the UFC...
That's the peak. That's the right before BJ Penn years?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is like right when he was champion.
Okay.
Okay? So Frankie Edgar is from New Jersey, and what is he known for?
Hard-nosed.
Pound for pound, motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Like being the smallest 155er,
Little Rocky.
right? Little Rocky. So when I started doing jiu-jitsu in 2008, I reached out to Frankie Edgar, and I was like, hey, who do you use for your strength and conditioning? And then he led me to this guy, Martin Rooney. Martin Rooney.
Wait. See, you're jumping. It's so like so easy for you to say, but like, how the fuck did he respond? That's my thing. Did you use a hashtag?
No,
like...
he said at Frankie Edgar, like, hey, who do you use for your strength and conditioning? Wow. And he responded. Again, Twitter was very small back then,
Mm-hmm.
and he responded with this guy Martin Rooney. And I went out. I bought Martin Rooney's books. Martin used to be the Team Henzo Gracie strength and conditioning coach. Okay.
Wait, Martin Rooney. Is he a Jersey-based guy?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
You definitely have.
This is. Hold on a second.
Yep, there it is. Ultimate Warrior Workouts, right there. He's
Wow,
got the
like,
book.
And I haven't
He's
read
got
it.
the book.
It's
This
just
is
to show off.
You got to show this book, guys. This is if you want to learn.
This was not set up.
Not at all. If you want to learn how to really get in shape for MMA, this is probably one of the best books in the world.
I'm tagging Martin. You better freaking retweet this.
Martin doesn't love me as much as he used to.
Oh God, here we go. This is why we get tracked now.
No.
We had a pass. There's no like.
Martin's a great guy. I have nothing. I still use a lot of what he taught me. But this book.
Talk.
Martin's good people. I love Martin's wife, Amanda. She's a great person.
Whoa, what happened with the wife?
Nothing. Just nothing.
How much do you love her?
She's a sweet person.
I'm busting your balls.
Anyway, this book, what it is Martin went around the world to like Holland, Brazil, Gleason's in Brooklyn, Holland, and Japan. He went to the Kudokan, and he went to the private gym of Vladimir Putin in Russia. And there's pictures with this guy Lucas Noonan, who's the fucking nicest person. He works for Bellator. He's a photographer.
Okay.
So Lucas and Martin went around the world over like a 4-year span and wrote this book with pictures of every drill. And it's all exercises on how to strengthen your body for mixed martial arts. Like how they train at Gracie Barra in Brazil for strength and conditioning. How they train at Iowa State for Iowa State wrestling.
Right.
How they train. Yeah. So that's what the book is.
That should be.
It's a great book. Anyway.
No offense. It should be a little bigger. That's pretty, like,
So,
remember Fight Quest?
Yeah.
It's like with Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
Like that type of.
So Martin is a genius, and he took this and he made it into a system called Training for Warriors. And that's where my first gym was. It was a Training for Warriors. I owned Training for Warriors on Long Island.
Frankie was trained by Martin.
Yes.
And then you...
And that's how I got involved with Martin.
Okay, so how is that? Was that like...
So I owned a gym for 8...
You owned a gym?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
From 2013 to 2020. I had, 2012 to 2020. When COVID came, I closed it.
Jeez. But
for 6 of those 7 years, it was Training for Warriors in Long Island. And then, in all fairness to Martin, look, what drew me to the system was how fucking pure it was for martial arts, right? But then he wanted to systemize it for more people to be able to open up more gyms.
Sure.
And so wasn't my, it felt like my coaching was kind of taken out of it because it wasn't as much individuality anymore. I wasn't doing the programming as much. It was now like HQ based, so all 300 Training for Warriors around the world were doing the same workouts every day. And, I didn't want to fit into that mold anymore. Right. And so I branched, and look, using my culinary background, I always gave people recipes and did nutrition seminars and and that's what gave me the confidence to, I used to cook for 80 people. So when the gym was doing great, I would and people would be like, how do I, my eating's bad. I would, on Saturdays and Sundays, cook 150 meals and bring it into the gym on Monday.
Grinding.
And dude, I was, owned a gym and then still doing food prep. I don't know if you lost me.
I'm a big believer in every bit of hard work pays off, whether it's seen or not. Like those type of weekends, it's like that.
But that's what's paying off for me now.
Okay.
Is being able to work with, getting on the phone with his brother and being like, look, I've done, nutrition and meal prepping for professional UFC fighters. I've done nutrition and meal prep for general population or people who are training for deadlift competitions or Spartan races or things of that nature over a 7-year period that now when I walk in to Sauce's house, I have the confidence that I belong there.
Right.
Versus oh my God,
I can't fuck up.
Yeah.
Right.
If anything, let me blow the socks off of him and give him food that he's maybe never even had. And, and that's when you get, nothing's better than fire emojis with a picture of your food next to it, right?
Wow. What's that moment like when I get weird personally when somebody cooks something and they're waiting to see how you're going to react to it?
I mean, you definitely, I think that again.
Or you could just turn away. You could just give it. You'd be like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom real quick. Or you're like.
But that's where, again, are you passionate about something? So do you want to get feedback about it, right? So it's like when I'm cooking for someone, I'm not just, it's with a purpose. Whether it's a family member.
You're an artist. You're an artist in the way you're carrying yourself. Who's also.
Yeah, I guess. I think we're all artists. We're all painting a portrait, right, of our life. How sloppy is it or how organized is it?
But you want your art to be accepted. I'm talking on a meal-to-meal basis, right? If he's
oh, of course.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I want him to.
You're looking at it
bro, he's
how
getting.
How did I do?
And he's getting meals that. All the other players are looking at. That's what I want, right? For him, people looking over his shoulder while he's eating.
A post helps too.
Yeah, well,
him putting the fire emoji, that's that's advertisement in itself for you. Yeah. Are you tagged in it?
No, so it's and that's where again.
That's coming.
That's over. Even now, right now he's in the middle of moving to a new house, so we're not currently working because he's living out of a hotel room, so it's not really the most convenient. Last year we got into a little bit of a issue where coolers weren't getting brought back to the facility, so he would pile up coolers in his room. So
let the man cook.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm sure they let him.
Yeah,
keep
but
the coolers there just play well.
Yeah, you would think so, but unfortunately, some things aren't as... You would think that an organization wants to support their players as best as they could.
Right. Not the case. Woody, what are we doing? Joe Douglas, what are we doing? Dude, I'm obsessed with the Jets.
Again, that's where I, talking to... It's dude, I want to help you win a Super Bowl. I'm not just here to, collect a paycheck. And even when I had negotiated with them originally, I came in a lot higher than some of the other companies, and we negotiated to a smaller fee because I said look, great, you know what, fine, pay me less. Let me be able to show you that I could help you become better on the field. And things have worked out. Good people.
And that's betting on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're like, the next negotiation, you're like, we're gonna ante up, but you're in.
Exactly.
You're in.
Yeah, and that's where whether it's being a black belt in jiu-jitsu or a chef, it's
confidence.
But you know what it is? It's confidence in knowing that the road you walked it. You didn't just like get here by accident, right? Being a Serra black belt, it's not just like being a black belt, right? You're, part of like the direct lineage to Renzo Gracie.
Yeah.
Matt is very frugal with belts. So, that you've worked to get there, being where I, whether it's Sauce's house or one of my other clients and that pays for, it's like, there is you belong there, you're supposed to be there, not somebody else. You're going to be like, oh my God, this should be somebody else. No, it's you. As much as I didn't like my former business partner, he gave me one quote that has always stuck with me, and it's, why not you? Or why not me?
LeBron said that in the finals against the Warriors. They were down like 3-1. He was like, why not us? Like, why can't we be the ones?
Yeah. Well, so why can't you be the, at the time, for me, it was maybe being like a awesome MMA coach like Greg Jackson or something like that,
Yeah.
But
if you
whatever it is, like if you want to be a black belt at Serra's, it's just keep showing up, keep challenging yourself, keep consistent. You want to be a chef, that's good. Put your hands on the knife every day. I'll keep referencing my coach Will, he's a big meat guy. And at one point I was having some financial issues and I wasn't really buying steaks because steaks cost a lot. And he's like, oh, I bet I could cook a steak better than you. And dude, I fucking took that to heart.
Yeah.
And I literally I found a way, I started going to Costco and buying my steaks there and making it more affordable. And obviously, things started to change financially, but man, can I cook a good steak?
That's like the
I've had many people tell me that that's the best steak they've ever had.
Michael Jordan effect. Like, he hears one thing and it's what you hold on to, and it's selective hearing in its best form, in my opinion, because you're not hurting anybody, but you're driving yourself. Some people take selective hearing to heart and they find a reason to drink more. Like, is that what they think?
Yeah,
exactly. Is that what they think? Or they sit in bed more. And it's like, no. You need to have the selective hearing that drives you. And that's why I think my sister, who's a teacher, will argue with me to the end. I think sports are just as important as school. Absolutely. You think about this character. I keep coming back with ways to argue with her at barbecues. The latest one is, if you have a very hyper child who's running around, who's not sitting still in school, all they do is pass him through a system, and then he's in that lane for maybe, it could be all 12 grades, could be for a couple of years, but now he's in a group of other selective people, separated. Sports, there's one team. If you're not paying attention, pick your nose, picking your ass, hey, Feldman, Lamdan, hey, are you in? Are you out? It's like, absolutely. And it's like, oh, you can't yell at a kid like that in school now. No. That's why I love sports. And you're that beautiful combination of somebody who is cerebral, studied, educated, experienced, but also competitive. And that's that makes me feel good when I hear somebody's like, you can't cook a steak. Like, I'll fucking cook a steak. I'll cook a steak, and now you're the steak man. No, look, even like now for the last year, I just got my black belt a couple months ago. And congratulations again.
So I've been, putting time on the mat. I also have been putting time on the mat at my own jiu-jitsu academy. Like,
Lighthouse
to me,
BJJ?
Yes, Lighthouse BJJ. So to me, it's like, how can I, be a better instructor? Well, that means getting to Serra's more, right? So it's like I have to be at Serra's more. So
still.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't even going to ask this. I was going to say you were like, peace, you cut the
No,
umbilical cord.
no.
Okay, you are. Okay.
I was at Serra's Wednesday night.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, you don't see, that's where you don't do that. And this is where I'll get back to this. So my coach, Will, he's a movement coach. Okay?
Like Ido Portal?
Like
Conor McGregor brought him
so
in?
much better.
Oh,
I mean, you want
shots fired.
I mean, Ido can... He could learn a lot from Will. Anyway, so Will...
He do like all that cool handstand stuff?
It's more on, the theory of steel wrapped in cotton. Where...
This is deep.
If I grip you, you don't, give me your arm just 1 second. So like most people grip like this.
Uh-huh. Whoa. You turned into like a vice grip.
Yeah, so it's like a coil.
So this is like functional to martial arts.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's a martial artist?
So Will's grandfather was the founder of Tang Soo Do, which is Chuck Norris.
Oh, okay.
Mudo Kwan.
Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal, big Mudo Kwan guy.
Okay.
And so Huang Ki is his name.
It's not one of those bullshittos?
No.
Those that's trending?
So if you look at the history of Korean martial arts, Taekwondo. Okay.
About as far as I know.
So Taekwondo and Tang Soo Do are Korean karate.
Okay.
At a time where the Korean government was trying to find a way to find martial art, to systemize martial arts, they chose Taekwondo because Tang Soo Do was too violent and too brutal of a sport. Will's grandfather was the first martial artist to use leverage-based fighting, angles, things like that. Mm-hmm. In a karate aspect before boxing. So Will has a background in Eastern martial arts, but then is also a student of Pavel Tatsuin and
Why does that
kettlebells.
Yes. The Godfather.
The Godfather of kettlebells.
Yeah.
So Will is one of his first students and took concepts that Pavel taught and integrated them with his grandfather's martial art and his learnings. And I've been around a lot of smart people, and this isn't, there's smart, book smart, and then there's smart, experience smart.
Yes.
Will is an experienced, smart guy. He's got the book smarts also.
Can we say visual learner? Is that the same thing?
It's not that he's a visual learner. He's done it through experience. He's pushed himself to points that required this or that, and now he's like, oh, this is how you do this or that. Because he needed that little extra oomph. So like a kip, for example, right? How do you learn what a kip is? How is the only way to find out what a true kip is? When you're lifting weight, if you're kipping a weight.
Oh, I thought that was the pull-up thing.
Okay, pull-ups. Yeah. Why do they do kipping pull-ups? Are pull-ups
momentum?
Right. Why? Because pull-ups are easy or hard?
Hard.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're the only way you learn how to do a kip or figure out that you need a kip to assist you in doing pull-ups is by maxing yourself out on pull-ups.
Okay.
Because then you ever do pull-ups and you're like, and you kip yourself up on that last one?
Yeah, right.
Right?
You pull parts of your body.
Right. So the guy's like, oh, wait. Somebody somewhere along the line was like, oh, wait, if I kip, I can do a lot more pull-ups on every pull-up. Right?
It's literally turned into its own
movement.
Yes, movement.
And that's why I say, so when you learn to, a clean or a deadlift and you shake, right?
Yes.
Well, why is that helping you lift as opposed to a clean lift? wouldn't you think that your body would want to continue the smooth motion as opposed to rattle till the end, right?
Interesting.
Why is it rattle till the end? Like that?
Because it's...
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Because when you're pulling a heavy weight like that, at your 1 rep max, your muscles are maxing out. And so it's now pulling into other connections of muscles, insertions of muscles that you haven't
proof.
Absolutely, that you haven't pulled. You haven't been using those muscles during your regular lifts. That now they're fucking radiating because you're using them so hard. So if you take someone that has really tight hamstrings and you have them squeeze their quad, their legs will shake.
Okay. Like a masseuse? Right.
No, like if you take your leg and you lay down on the ground and you bring your leg over your head and you squeeze your quad as hard as you can to straighten out your foot, your quad will most likely shake.
Okay.
Large chance. Unless you're really loose. But most people walk around really tight.
Right.
So, why is that? That's because you're asking other muscles to join the party to help you. And so because they're not strong, they don't have a good grip, they're shaking.
Right.
And that's why you have to learn to train those other muscles so it becomes a smooth movement versus like a...
So the Korean martial art and Will and Pavel... How do you say his name?
Pavel Tatsuin.
Where does Will's
Will's my coach. My
teachings come in?
So when I had the gym, one of my buddies, a former buddy of mine, who was also a Training for Warriors person, he had a gym in Orange County, California. And he worked with a lot of pro golfers.
Okay. Because
their hips, knees, shoulders, a lot of shit happens to that. And so he was always on the movement side of things, like the recovery, longevity aspect of training. And he was the first person, he connected me to Will because I brought him, I was traveling with my wife up the coast of California. We did a vacation and we stopped in Orange County to say what's up. And I'm like, been driving 3 hours. So he's like, hey, let me give you some drills to fucking loosen you up. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? He's like, yeah, this is what I learned from my coach. And Will lives in the Jersey Shore. So when I brought Rob for a seminar, I'm like, bro, you have to come teach this shit. And when I brought him, I didn't realize all the shit he was teaching was stuff that he learned from Will. At the time, my wife was 3 months pregnant with our first kid. And so Will, for like 3 hours, Will came to watch Rob's seminar at my place. And also to hang out with Rob, because Rob was coming out here. And so Will and I became friends through that. And then he liked me as a person and liked my philosophy as a coach. And he invited me to join his coaching group. He's got a private coaching group. And over the years, he has an intensive that he runs like every year. It's like mind-blowing knowledge. And I started I started in April. The first intensive was in September. So like from April to September, he gave me 3 drills to work. I got in the best shape of my life.
Really?
Like corrected my posture, my shoulder issues, my knee issues, every issue I had from jiu-jitsu. My hip, oh my God.
Right, because you were heavily into jiu-jitsu at this point.
Yeah. And so we became really good friends, like best friends, till like now he comes and hangs out at my house for the weekend, or I go down, or like we get a house for the week at the end of the summer and he stays with us. He's like part of our family now. And his theories is what, I mean, there's so many things I learned from Martin this book has so much knowledge in it, but Will is like just it's a whole different world. And that's where, like, working with Charlie, Charlie was having knee issues. His knee was fucking pop. I can tell it now because it's not happening anymore. But the kid's knee was literally popping out in the middle of the sessions and just locking.
Was he too tight?
No, just would pop out.
But
he had a knee injury.
I've heard from Tiki Barber on the air. He says so many people get knee injuries because we're so wound up.
Well, I'm sure as a fighter, you're wound very sprawling, defending shit. Anyway,
nobody warms up.
No,
like secretly, these guys are 25 to 30. I'm like, they're warming up by like shadow boxing and all right, let's spar.
So like showing him like two things and completely fixing his knee, he was like completely bought
Sold.
in. Yeah,
let's go. Like,
and then
when was this?
This was 3 years.
Pre-UFC?
3 years ago, pre-UFC.
Okay.
Yeah, CFFC days.
Nice.
Right before two fights at CFFC, and then we had the Contender Series fight. Then we had another fight in CFFC, and now we've had 2 UFC fights.
Was Charlie the first of the Law MMA guys to work with you?
Yeah, there was a kid back in the day. This kid Evan Velez, before I was even training at Serra's, like probably a decade ago.
Okay, so out of this generation,
this generation,
the first?
Yeah.
Because you messaged on Twitter, and what's your Twitter handle or X.com?
No,
handle?
it's at Amir Lamdan. It's just my name.
Okay. What's the photo? Black and white.
The black and white.
Very artsy.
It's me at a Training for Warriors seminar.
Okay.
Doing deadlifts with this guy Rich Sadiv.
Beast.
Who is the human? This guy's name's the Human Crane. He's
what a name,
dude. He's 50 plus years old. He's got a 750-pound deadlift. He's 185 pounds.
Jeez, that's technique.
Yeah.
That's like muscle fiber on muscle fiber.
This guy works with like all the top NFL guys.
Wow.
That's so like working with being in around Martin, like being involved with guys like Rich Sadiv. I've it made me
scoop of that.
Yeah,
scoop of that.
Exactly.
You're making a nice Sunday.
That's why you start to like, but that's where Ike, like you are Longos.
That's why I had my scoop of there.
Yeah,
scoop of that company.
That's it. Now to make your Sunday, bro.
Yes, that's right.
Now to make your Sunday,
right.
the Ike-tagon Sunday.
I'm crawling to the freezer at this point, but it's like once you grab the freezer, open it, it's like that's where I'm at right now in this stage of it. But so I brought up X.com because you said, I had great work with Justin in his past camp, and he looked phenomenal. Looked to be in the best shape ever. Strength, lean, gas tank, everything. Obviously,
looks strong on the takedown defense. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, 18-year judo black belt. Dude is belt like you little metal, and he's dealing with it. So yeah the strength is there. I'm sure he sold on it 100%. But Charlie was the first. Is Justin the second from Law?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as far as like buying in, I've
you're casual.
Yeah.
That's why I relate to you. It's like, hey, I always joke around with people. I'll be like, hey, there's $1 million under that bush. They're like, all right, have a great day. See you later. Like, and over their head.
And this is where I'll tell you, like, it's not that I haven't pursued other law guys. It's I've pursued other law guys and then just backed away because I saw there wasn't as much interest. And that's where I say, like, you have to.
It's not that it's not interest. It's you. It's like they're used to. We're in the era where a guy wears a suit on a stage, throws a chair at a press conference, and that's the guy who's supposed to win.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the Alex Pereira's who are winning. You're the Alex Pereira.
Thank you.
I will give you good training. I will give you good food. And people are like, nah. That's not fun. Like, they want to be sold like, hey, man, you want the fucking answer? You want the black gold in the soil? I got it for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're so casual. That's why I think, like, the pro athletes, it's a breath of fresh air. You're probably conversating, easy going while you're in their house, their sacred place. Somebody doesn't need somebody that they think's going to rob them. So... That's it. I just think everybody will be sold.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But that's what I was telling you about yourself. I think just in general, you kept asking me what's what's the secret?
What's
I think
the playbook?
Be genuine, you know?
Yeah.
Genuine and communicate. Communicate what the things you want, put it out into the world. You know, I'm a big believer of if you're constantly talking bad about yourself and saying how bad of a mood you're in or how bad of a day you're having, you're going to have that.
Tom DeGennaro, hate the same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Fuck that. And he said when he was working construction, this guy would always say, living the dream, sarcastically. It's like, those are real. It is scientifically proven. And I'm a very, now, what's the opposite of well-read? Underread?
Yeah. No knowledge.
I like, what I see is what I get.
Yeah.
Like, I'm learning on the fly. And it's like, I did learn that words and thoughts are actual frequencies. So it's like if you're literally sending those frequency, they say that you can talk to a plant positively and the plant will be healthier.
Yeah.
I think that applies to us.
Absolutely. I think self-talk is huge.
So do you have like the daily mantras? Is your alarm clock Jocko Willink?
No.
Come on, Amir, go.
No, because those people aren't going to do it for me.
Okay.
I have to do it myself.
Okay. So is your alarm clock your own voice?
Yeah. My alarm clock is, like, what are you going to get done today?
Okay. You always try to get wins every day? Little wins? Win.
I think to me, presence, being present is a win sometimes.
Kids will keep you present.
Yeah. So, I do spend a lot of time with my kids. And so being there, and then also while I'm being present there, thinking about what's the next move with jiu-jitsu, food prep, strength training.
Right.
So
that's the valuable of the phone nowadays. You can literally hold a baby, be on.
Yeah. Or just, in your mind be like, okay, what do I want to get done today? Like, what's my number one thing that I want to accomplish today?
Not throw my son over the balcony.
Well, no. that's something you don't want to accomplish. I'm saying something you do want to accomplish for yourself. Like, do I want to do 50 push-ups? Do I want to drink more water? Do I want to meal prep for myself for tomorrow?
Around the kids, number one.
There you go.
Number two, exercise. Whether it's 100 push-ups, 100 abs,
whatever.
Hit the bag
Plank.
for 20 minutes.
Plank for a minute. Who cares?
That's 1 and 2. And 3 would be improve the career.
Yeah, so start with 15 minutes, 7-minute video, whatever.
Do you like certain times of days to work out? I know your schedule's in flux, but on the rise, what was your...
The morning, get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done. No excuses.
Okay.
Especially with 2 kids, you're going to have to fucking either get it done first thing in the morning or... Now, my wife and I, because I have the full garage gym, now my wife and I, like, when I come home at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, instead of watching TV, because we watched every fucking show there is.
There's a joke about that. Netflix said done.
Yeah, pretty much. So now we just go to the garage and we hang out and we talk. Even if it's like a light workout, it's just healthier.
That's big, man. Paulie Malignaggi said about Conor McGregor that when McGregor is in adversity, he looks for a way out. And obviously they had their beef with their sparring sessions. But I'm a big believer that's marriage. When shit hits the fan, it's like, do you look for a way in to improve? Have your talks in the garage? Or do you look for a way out? Like, you know what? I'm going to follow back this person. And it's not going to be Sauce's brother.
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody else that you're DMing and collabing with. And there's dangers. That's why it pisses me off when like husbands are like, yo, my wife doesn't put out anymore. And it's like, but what are you doing to improve yourself, For sure. And it's like, are you trying to be?
You have to water your grass, brother. Else it's going to go down.
There's a lot of grass. You're married to a European, there's a lot of grass.
All right.
We're at that point in the podcast.
It's all good, bro. That was a great one.
41, looking healthy, past the ulcers and the fucking crazy Alaska
look,
stories.
Of course we still have to, be mindful. As you...
Your skin is glowing. Like, you look healthy. You look like you're ready for a nap.
No, I'm good.
I got a mattress over there.
No, I'm good. Did I nap today? No, I didn't nap today, but I'm good.
What's the goals? 45, 50 years old, 42?
Right now, the focus is building the jiu-jitsu. I want the kids in the community. So I'm a vice president.
How do you know when you're doing too much, though? How do you know? When you make a mistake? Because I always look at it, if a glass breaks, mazel tov, yes. But also it's like, I was doing too much. I was trying to rush on the dishes. Jamming too many stuff into, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a metaphor.
When your emotions are controlling you and not you, your emotions.
Break that down, please. What is that? Give me...
When you're overwhelmed, so your kid asks you for something, you snap at him versus...
Right, I'm just getting past that. I'm literally like 1 month past that.
Well, you're going to have 2 more coming down the pipe.
No. God is funny. Dude, if I had 3 of my sons, I would be the one over the balcony. I swear to God, those girls are peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Easy going.
But that's where you're going to, that's where
the teenage years will be different.
Exactly.
With the boyfriends, but I'll be more well-equipped then. Was that a shock?
Yeah, of course.
Let's go.
Only one way to handle that.
You remember Bad Boys with Martin Lawrence when they meet this? Like, that's it. How do you not force martial arts on your kids? I met a lot of French people, literally sweethearts. Every one of them had a martial arts background, whether it was just playing around with Aikido, whether it was highly competing in judo, whether it was just doing some Muay Thai.
I don't know if I don't want to push my kid into martial arts, because martial arts teaches you balance, it teaches you respect, it teaches you humility, it teaches you how to handle tough situations, teaches you how to lose. Yeah,
and no executive, as much as they could be screaming you forgot to send an email, it's in your draft, they're not going to touch you. They're not going to hurt you.
Yeah, even that, I think, the self-defense part is always
that
nice.
Wasn't a projection.
I think that I'll probably never have to use my qualifications as a black belt, hopefully never, in a real life-threatening situation.
But it gives you sense
But it gives you some sense of self, right? Especially, going to a place like Sarah's, you're never going to be the best guy in the room. So
no, there's a megalodon out there. You think you're a great white?
Exactly.
There's a fucking megalodon.
So that's, I think that...
Frank.
Yeah, well, this is like an endless, Anthony, Frank, Jason.
I think Spano might be the baddest dude in the gym. I want to,
He's a motherfucker.
Dude.
Spano, he'll wrestle
Spanos.
you. No
That's
matter.
his new name. I'm going to call him Spanos.
No, Spano will definitely fucking wrestle the hell out of you until you can't breathe. I'm like, dude, we're doing jiu-jitsu.
Did your wife train?
No, you know what?
Come on.
That's something that we're in the conversation. We're starting to put into the conversation now that I'm transitioning to this new space.
Hey, Sauce, how do you like your meals prepped? And now you're like in like Jen, and it's like, hey, honey, I think you should that's patience.
Dude. So again, another one of those secret things.
Patience,
you have to have patience. Otherwise, you're going to constantly set yourself up for disappointment. No expectations.
But isn't that the joke somebody says on social media? If you have low or no expectations, you'll never be disappointed. Fuck that.
No, you can be disappointed. I'm not saying you won't. Look, am I... even now, right? I told you, Sauce is moving to a new house. I'm not there every day. I'm not there. So am I disappointed about it? Yeah, but am I okay, whatever. I know the relationship. I know where we are.
That's a sell. I think that's a cool thing to sell. If you're like, hey, that's you're selling wrong.
Yeah.
That's a sell to be patient.
But you want to sell yourself.
Oh, you're right.
And that's why I told you, you gave, we talked about.
I know,
we talked about putting together.
Chris Wyman giving his number might have been the worst thing that happened to me. I'm like, dude, I'm like, why is he not responding? You put yourself in torture.
It's like that hot girl that you want to hook up with in middle school. And
my God.
And then after the third call of the day, she's like, stop calling my house.
Like, it was only 3?
Yeah, I just called 3 times. Well, what's the big deal?
Because that's the thing, dude. That would be the dream, to be on WFN or ESPN New York, and you're hosting there a Friday night fight show. We're previewing the Saturday card with the UFC fighter, but it's got to be cool.
Because, you have to know that you belong there. You're not a guest in the party. You're a part of the party.
Yes, but I'm also like, let's fucking do it. You're an idiot for not like seeing it. Like, let's go. Like, I get frustrated at people. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a guest. I feel like I can be the best in the world.
So do it.
Right.
So do it.
Well, that's why you're here.
I'm not doing it. I'm just here to hang out.
Because you don't. I think you could be on One Jets Drive or Hard Knocks, and they're like, all of a sudden they show your little lower third. Hey, you were in Connecticut school.
Yeah, I know what a lower third is.
And you're just like flipping an omelet. You're like, hey, camera guy, watch this. And they're like, oh, it's like a Vine clip. Or not Vine. TikTok clip.
TikTok, yeah.
Like that is, you're right there.
I'm not worried. I'm worried about where I am right now.
You know how good you are.
And that's why I'm not,
you're like this because you just trained.
I didn't train. I actually came from today? No, I ended up coming.
Did you jerk off in the car?
No.
You're so chill.
No.
Oh, I thought you just trained.
No, I was going to go to Sarah's. I ended up having some stuff to do around the house. So
pancakes.
No pancakes, but I appreciate it. No,
you're very chill.
I mean,
you didn't train today? Nothing?
No.
Wow. Okay. Hashtag goals. That's where I want to get to. You walk around with like a white toga?
No.
Dude, you're very chill.
I mean,
did you smoke?
I had, but listen.
Edible? Wait a second. Okay.
But again, like Ike, everyone always says to me at Sarah's, they're like, "Why are you so fucking?" It's like, bro, what kind of energy would be beneficial for me to either help you or to help myself. Like excited over the top. I was
nervous rolling with you. When we went on a Saturday morning. But you made it
play.
Yeah, it was very relaxing.
Because
you were the first roll of the day, and that first roll is always like,
how's it gonna be?
Rocks. It's always like, how's it gonna be? Yeah. Made it easy, man.
But that's the same, you have to look. I can match your energy, or I can have you match mine in a roll. Right? That's the black belt. Like the black belt lets me dictate the pace. Right?
Right.
So if I'm with my communication more confident in what I'm talking about, or where I'm going with, more centered, right? It's going to be easier for me to expand out about what I'm talking about, the direction I want to be in, because I can always go back to my center. That's that steel wrapped in cotton. That sometimes the cotton gets unwound, but the steel stays strong.
Yeah.
Right? So when you layer things on yourself, that's the cotton. It becomes a part of you.
Like what are the layers, for example?
Training.
Okay.
Nutrition, family, career. Right?
Okay. The standard layers.
Yeah, like if you're centered with if you're out DMing girls, you're not centered in your relationship with your wife.
Right. Okay.
If you're constantly looking for a new coach with your striking or your grappling or your strength and conditioning, you're not centered on your fitness. You're all over the place.
Right. So the steel is the constant.
The constant.
Okay. And some layers can change.
Yeah.
Like wives and coaches.
No, well, that's up to you.
No, I'm playing. You can even look at the cotton as like fat, like winter.
For sure.
And that's how I keep thinking of it.
Yes.
And it's like when the spring rolls in.
Correct.
Shave it off.
That's it.
Cut the fat. Interesting. Because it's like after 10 years, I do have a very strong relationship with my wife, and it's like I do finally feel centered with the gym. Oh, I was the Groupon king, living in the city. No joke. 5 years in the city, 5 different towns or cities. And with that, there's no consistency with training. You're the new guy. You're the new guy. You're the new guy. And now it's like I keep saying my flag is planted. Like finally can commit to Serra's. Obviously time.
Yeah, of course.
Get theirs, but it's like I feel like it's there.
Yeah.
The steel. So
correct.
Now we're building more and more steel. Interesting.
That's how you strengthen your steel, right? By laying down a stronger foundation in that area.
Achieving goals.
Correct.
Yes. I've been... I trained under Alex Aristides and Joe Monahan, were 2 early black belts of Matt.
Yeah, I know.
They always just talked about Matt. He would come through for seminars, and I'm like, I can't wait to train under Matt. And that was 2009, awesome. And it's like, finally it's happened. So it's like, yeah, on those fronts.
Yeah, but that's where, like now we take this and we build, right?
Interesting. I feel like you're like an older brother in a sense, like passing down the wisdom. Unless you go in the car and you snort coke.
No, it's definitely not.
Oh, what a sucker.
Now I got to get back in the car and drive.
But it's you probably, your attitude is not like, oh, fuck, I got to drive. You probably find out a way to listen to music you ever listen to on a podcast.
I mean, again, I'll go back to, like, working with Sauce. Bro, he don't live in Long Island. He lives in fucking North Jersey. I had to drive 2 hours every day.
Every day?
Or 3 days a week, 4 days a week to
wow. And you can't show up and be like, hey, Sauce, that fucking try. No, you gotta be like,
he
hey,
don't
brother,
give a fuck. Yeah,
morning.
Of course. Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey, how are you? How's everything? Good morning,
So then last thing,
yeah, of course,
if you want, like any way to get away from the kids. Your parents, not even your parents, could be siblings or teacher. Where does this come from? Where does Amir Lamdan's just aura come from? Besides the experience, genetically, like, who passed this down to you?
I'd probably say my grandmother.
Okay.
My dad's mom. She was very...
Why? How?
Well, so was an Israeli citizen before Israel was even a country.
Oh, so she's
seen, yeah. And she's definitely was the matriarch of my family. And, she wasn't like involved per se on the regular in the family business, but she started with my grandfather a business in Israel that is a freight forwarding business, which was a very tiny exporter-importer, to my dad taking over and like Pampers and other huge companies coming into Israel, to my uncle taking it over, and UPS in Israel belongs to him, and Schenker, which is the largest boat freight company in the world.
Your grandma started
my grandmother and grandfather started
the trajectory in?
Yeah, so like this mindset.
You remember her?
Yeah. Oh my God, she's an incredible woman. Yeah, for me, I think I try to live as much as I can to honor her as an individual. She was very family, all about family,
yes. Awesome.
My dad definitely wasn't around very much, so like she almost like took the reins in the sense of like, hey, look, this is how. Don't be like your dad, and don't be like your dad. Don't do this. This is how you should be more. You should be thinking like this way, not that way. Giving me real insight. I don't know if I just unplugged myself.
No,
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I would say my grandmother probably had the most influence on me as an individual, and then she again bringing everyone together.
Families.
And everything. Then also, look, honestly, my dad not being present, not being the best dad. He tried to buy presents with presents. Does that make sense?
Time is the most important thing, not money.
Exactly.
I realize.
Yeah. So
buy presents with presents. That just hit me. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can only give presents.
My brother, who's super successful in the banking industry, it's like so many times with the nieces and nephews' birthdays, he would just send the gift instead of, and it was like, no, we gotta glue this tight. Your time being there, sorry, the city is way faster than the island. And a kid's birthday, you know the template: hang, play, cake, or food, cake. Goodbye. But it's important to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Your grandma set the stage.
Yes, absolutely.
And you carry that, like.
Yeah, I try to. I don't have the best relationship with my siblings, just because I feel like a little bit of the black duck in the family.
Interesting.
But
it's
all good. I don't. They all I'm the only entrepreneur in the family. I'm the only.
Which shouldn't make you the black duck.
They all, I have nothing.
Or maybe the
they're
black
my
duck
siblings.
is the good thing. They're all the white ducks, and you're.
Yeah, I do. Look, I don't see it as good or bad. They have their thing. I have my thing. We all try to support each other. Like
nobody, no niece, no nephew ever asked you, "Hey, Uncle Amir, what's the playbook?" Hey, and you I'm sure you have.
No, my nephew, all my nieces and nephews are a little bit young still, but my nephew who's 13, my brother has net season tickets, and they has all, he's big into basketball, and he wants to be successful agent one day, and I'm like, well, here's a book, and I got him this woman, Nicole Smith, who's one of the biggest football agents in the world.
Oh, I thought that was the lady who stole the money from the millionaire.
No.
That's Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, it's Anna Nicole Smith. No, this woman, Nicole Smith, she
was a whore.
He's 13, not 5. Anyway, but yeah, look, I think
that's crazy, man. Because I'm trying to
I'll tell you something, Ike.
You're living the dream too.
Yeah,
it's that's a great message for kids to see too.
I think that when we we get to a point in life that we have to leave people behind or disconnect.
I just heard Jim Brewer. He says he made the analogy of a rocket ship. You're making your rocket ship. You're telling people to board. It's going to take off. It's going to take off. Guys, the rocket ship.
Exactly.
Fuck.
And they'll never, look, or even not even that. It's just some people will just see you as that kid that,
which kid?
Whatever, that wasn't serious and had to go live in Mexico, to work versus
my God, dude.
Versus
they see me as the 16-year-old who wore Echo, South Pole, who had a temper, and it's I remember, this is fucking crazy. This is weird.
But
talking to my future, what type of, my future's pretty good. You got matching socks on. Right. But the shoes look pretty good. All right, my future's pretty good.
It's not dark. It hasn't gone complete shit.
Oh my God! All right, the future is, it's dim, but
no, it's not dim. It's good.
I'm kidding, but it's I had a temper as a teenager. Sheetrock and me did not see eye to eye.
Same.
Drywall.
Yeah.
And martial arts was a lifesaver at 19. Finding it literally was just a sporadic kid, but it was a place to iron out, wrinkle out the energy. And it's so funny. Literally during the pandemic, we all came together in bunches. Everybody lived in the city, would live in an open room out here. So we're on top of each other. And I decided to do a little jiu-jitsu seminar to a 9-year-old. No, 12, just for the record. And my sister walks in, and it must have been some weird flashback to me as a teenager. And she goes, "Get off my son." I'm in a side control. Side control, you can literally tickle them in the armpits.
Yeah.
And talk to them. That's all I'm doing. And an untrained person is easy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to apply pressure.
Yeah, of course,
and
of course.
She was like, "Get off my son!" Like, I was
Yeah,
literally
flashback.
like John Jones.
Like elbowing
Matt Hamill in the head, like, and she was Yamasaki, like, or Yamasaki would let it go, like John McCartney, no, he would let it go, or Herb Dean running in there.
Mazzagatti was the one that.
I didn't see it. Keep going. But yeah, and that just hit me like, you guys know I've competed in martial arts.
Yeah, but that's gonna be like that, bro. But that's where you need.
And they call me by my middle name, still as the same. And my wife was confused, and it's like, that's
look, bro, I work
crazy.
with Sauce Gardner, and I still have to get, like, it took to that, even to, like, for my parents or my family or, people to just be like, oh.
My father wanted to tell me how to do an interview. I'm like, I go, no, he says, oh, you cut the guy off. And I said, he brought up something, Natan Levy.
Yeah.
I was so proud to send it to my father, an Israeli father, Israeli fighter, so proud. I sent it. He goes, why'd you cut him off? I said he said he trained in, is it Osaka in Japan? Yeah. And I said, whoa. I said, Natan, you got to tell me, how was your Japan? He goes, oh, brother, rice every day. It was crazy, hardest part of my life. And I got that question, but my father's like, why'd you cut him off? I go,
it's going to be, there's always going to be.
What is it? Why? Have you figured it out? I know you've written it up to something in your mind, but I don't want to believe.
They always want the best. They always want better for you. That's what they do, They're going to pick every little thing you do.
So the tired times and the self-conscious days, no, like...
You have to learn.
No sticking it to you, right? They're not like, oh, who's this guy think he is? Talking to Sauce Gardner.
No, definitely not that. I just think that, I think keeps you not level, but like,
makes you work harder.
Makes you work harder for sure.
I've done at least 200 since then interview, and that's, I can't remember, but that one sent out to me.
That's funny.
Interesting.
Yo,
all
bro.
Right. Buff on a budget. Lamdan Strength and Nutrition. Lighthouse BJJ. Where's this located?
It's in East Rock, in Hewlett, right by Hewlett train station.
Where is that?
In Nassau County, Long Island. South Shore, Nassau County, by the 10 minutes
Babylon,
from Kennedy. No, way west.
Freeport.
No, west. Keep going.
Baldwin.
Keep west. Right by Kennedy, 10 minutes from the airport.
Okay. I'll take a plane from MacArthur.
Just so you know, like you literally, it might take you less time than it took me to drive here.
You know what's the dream? Having some like outer state athlete coming into your gym. It's so easy. You can pick them up from the airport.
You see? But why not?
Exactly. Why not? Anything you want to shout out?
No,
throw out? Leave us with the words of inspiration.
My words of inspiration to you would be that I am grateful to have been here now, because I may not get a seat at the table when you're in downtown Manhattan. I may not be able to come in downtown Manhattan when you have the big studio and your schedule is full.
Interesting.
So I'm glad that you were able to make time for me now when things are still at the ground level.
This is the LP.
Yeah, the same thing with like Martin, like when Training for Warriors started, I was at the very beginning. I was like one of the first 40 gyms, 20 gyms to open up Training for Warriors, and now he's got 300 worldwide.
Holy smokes. Okay.
But I'm no longer a part of that, but it was great. When I left the brand, it wasn't on the best terms, but I'm grateful to have been a part of it. It led me to where I am now in the relationship.
Would you come back?
No, because I think at this point I'm my own brand. You know what I mean?
Of course. But it's not burnt.
No, I'm not gonna ever like brand my gym Training for Warriors. I'll use the concepts.
You guys
for
saw
sure.
each other. It's not
I'd say, hey Martin, how are you?
Okay.
Hope you're well.
There's no
how are the kids?
He's looking at your leg. Should he do a single leg?
Nah, I don't think he's.
Okay, that's good.
I don't think Martin doesn't think.
I'm a big believer in that. Like I've had the highest MMA media members tell me to fuck off, and I said I'm not leaving here until you shake my hand. It's like I come from a big family of debating.
Confrontation. Well, we're Jewish, Israeli.
Fuck, it's normal. All right, well,
dude.
Amir, I appreciate you. Now I'm gonna try to grab with the ring finger.
Yeah, ring to index.
Come dance with me, woman.
Yeah, come here, my pretty. That's the drill.
You're my pretty.
Come here, my pretty. That's the name of the drill.
Amazing. Amir, I probably should have talked this close the whole time. Sound editing.
That's why I pulled myself back, you see.
Yeah. No, you're a pro. CSB. Yeah, CSB.
Yeah.
Love you, brother. Great to see you.
Much
I got to be on the
appreciated.
mats more. Hopefully things start to change and I can be at that Wednesday night class more. We're working on scheduling things.
All right, let's go.
It will happen.
And that's jiu-jitsu. It's a journey, man. You're going to be times when my kids are older, I'm going to be on the mat 5 days a week. Right now, maybe 2 days, you know?
Right.
It's just how it is.
Exactly. Maybe no days.
Maybe no days. Yeah, there's times I've had to take gaps off.
Maintain instead of rebuild those push-ups.
Let's
Just
go.
do a couple.
That's it.
Stay in the mix.
That's it. Keep the wall up.
That's right. Let's go Jets.
Let's go Jets.
I'm saying
Super
10
Bowl.
and 7 is fair. Vegas has them at 9.5.
I got 12 wins this year, if you look at our schedule.
Okay.
Bro,
Tyrod Taylor will be starting a couple games.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Our defense is amazing.
But give Rodgers, keep him fresh late December. That's it.
We'll see. Our offensive line is real. Not like last year. We had a bunch of...
Tyron, just stay on. Same thing as Rodgers. We need you for the 12 to 15 biggest games.
See, have bigger expectations for yourself. This is what I'm saying. Like,
Liev Schreiber couldn't have made it bigger last year on Hard Knocks. And then him running out with the flag, you're like,
listen,
the time is nigh. The time is nigh.
Just believe. Just believe.
All right,
One game
Moses.
at a time. Not Moses, but like, hey, what are you going to do? You're going to fucking have anxiety over how many games Rodgers plays? Like, if he plays all 17, great. If he plays 15, okay. You know?
You play fantasy football?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Maybe this year I'll jump back into it.
I'm in that phase. I took Garrett Wilson over Pacheco.
So this is what I would tell you. That's a great pick. But I would tell you, like, maybe this is the last year you do fantasy football and focus on the octagon.
Well, I'm always in last, so I never.
So there you go.
It's a friend thing.
All right. So then you still focus on the
I will. This is I call it paying my own bank. I'll start to invest in myself.
Please.
So, like I said, the 15 minutes 3 times a week is nothing.
That could be the most value we get out of this episode is you fulfilling your promise and giving us more content.
And what are you gonna promise me? Let's make a deal.
Just to keep pushing on growing my brand.
Can I try some broth?
Yeah, I'll
That's
bring
it.
you some broth. You got to come to Sarah's and I'll fucking bring it with you. But
A Lighthouse. We'll do.
all right, when you
broth.
come to Lighthouse.
Okay. When are you there? What's the schedule?
I'm there now. I'm there Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, but we're going to be there Monday through Friday and Saturdays and Sundays.
That's every day.
We're going to be there every day pretty much, but just
Okay.
in the mornings on the weekends. Just
Just
a
in the
couple
morning?
classes.
Like 10 a.
Yeah, like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. probably. I'm still going to go to Sarah's on Saturday mornings.
Do the 9 a shoot to
Shoot back, get back by 11, do 11, 12. Yeah, I am. 100%.
Okay. You sure?
Guaranteed.
So what's the secret?
least for now.
What you have to cut out to keep the body? Like for me, stop drinking.
I don't drink because of my stomach issues.
Smart. So you've been ahead of the game. Secret.
Alcohol, immediately you got to remove that out of your nutrition. That's probably one of the worst things. Like the more and more
For
they
any
study,
pro athlete, of course, but for
in
Bob,
general, man, alcohol is fucking you up, fucking up your sleep, fucking up your immune system.
have you heard of GABA?
No.
It's like a fake sense of like happiness. It releases GABA, beer and wine, and it's like a thing in the mind. Like I'm so happy that loss of inhibitions.
Yeah.
And it just turns into depression.
That
So it's like
usually is the case.
so.
Well, if something's doing that, it's usually the opposite.
So what would you suggest to a high-level athlete to kind of something they could vice out on and not like seaweed chips? Because there's cracks.
You
Not
know
everybody's
what?
Bo Nichols.
I
Bo
mean,
Nichols had this trajectory in his life.
I mean, if you like ice cream, you do like froyo ice cream. You do like Greek yogurt with the frozen fruit. You blend that, and you get some, that's frozen yogurt right there with protein in it.
Is that the worst habit you've seen with pro athletes is sugar?
Yeah, the pro athletes.
According to EddieBravo.com, it's 8 times more addictive than cocaine.
Well, the thing is also, you have to understand their body's depleted of so much glycogen throughout the day, so they're it's demanding sugar. They just don't know good sugar fuel sources, right? So they go back to what they know. Soda, chips, candy, chocolates, Candy's a big one. A lot of athletes like Mike and Ike's and like gummies like that.
DK Metcalf, you probably murder him.
That's where
he does the grande like caramel.
But that's where you have to understand. Even like, and I'll finish on this. They're all human, man. Even Sauce Gardner, he eats macaroni and cheese and brisket like me and you. You know, like you just have to find what he likes and then feed it to him with things that. You have to find what falls in line with you, whether it's what you're doing in your life, the person you want to spend your life with, the job you want to live, go to every day. If you don't find something that you vibe with, you're going to be very miserable in one of those areas. So find the things that vibe with you and try to lean into those as much as you can.
I'm trying to think now, what would be better, to go to Lighthouse or just like document you putting a meal together, like just to do it and piece it together, like.
Oh, definitely.
That would be you in your studio.
Yeah, probably putting the meal together would be interesting for people
Nassau
to
boy?
see. Yeah.
Okay, I can get there. And then we'll shuffle it away and we'll order pizzas.
Yeah, no, we'll eat it.
Amazing. Maybe I'll be your culinary content.
Oh shit, that would be sick.
That means like once a month I'll roll in.
Hey, whatever, and then I'll make a 10-course meal for us.
And it's timeless, right? It's not like, it's March 23rd.
No,
like,
a meal's good for a meal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That'd be easier on me.
Yeah,
I'm a wizard from home, but getting places.
Yeah, dude, you don't have to.
Well, thank you for coming to my home, man.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me in your home.
Hopefully the next time we do it, we'll probably be here again. But
that's okay.
A couple times after, you got to come to the city.
You
got to come to the city, man.
Let's
go. I appreciate it.
I know it's going to happen.
Amir Lamdan on X.com. Lamdan Strength and Nutrition on Instagram, as well as Buff on a Budget, as well as Lighthouse BJJ, Hewlett, New York. Hewlett. Sorry.
Hewlett. It's okay. It's not my time.
I was just listening to a podcast where they're talking about Huey Lewis, and now I have Hewlett, Huey Lewis in my head.
That'll definitely fuck your tongue up.
Yeah, he is my brother in arms. He is doing the damn thing. He's living the life. If you guys aren't attracted to him, you need to look in the mirror. But my man, Amir Lamdan,
appreciate you so much, bro.
Appreciate you for popping by. Handshake on camera. We're out.